Cam Newton going to the LA Chargers would be what, Chris?
Perfect to me. I mean, that to me is the perfect fit. From all aspects, business, on the field, there's nothing I don't like about that marriage. Now, listen, maybe the Chargers know something I don't. Maybe they know Cam Newton wants $30 million a year. I don't know. I don't know those nuances. But I just look at the Chargers with lack of notoriety there in LA compared to the other team. Here's a chance where the Rams are, kind of retooling. Todd Gurley's not there anymore. Guys are kind of, they're retooling their team right now. There's a chance to kind of take over a little bit. And you got a legit top 5 defense with some superstars there. And you're improving your offensive line. And a guy like Cam Newton not only going to sell tickets and billboards and everything like that, but, like I said, the Tom Brady factor, he's going to make them feel like they're a contender to be an AFC championship type football team the second he walks in the locker room, if he's healthy and everything checks out that way. So that's where I look at it and kind of love that fit.
And let's talk about L.A. The Rams have Jared Goff. If the Chargers would get Cam Newton and he was healthy, isn't that no-brainer? He's the better quarterback?
Yes. For me, it is. Yes. I mean, my thoughts on Jared Goff. Solid quarterback. Do I think he's in the top half of the league as quarterback? Absolutely not. I think Jared Goff is somewhere between 17 and 20 or 22, somewhere in that range. Cam Newton, when healthy, is a top 10 quarterback. There's no doubt about it. He's a game changer, not only for his own team, but like we talked about in the first hour, he changes how defenses have to play you because of his interesting skill set. And that's where, he fits Anthony Lynn, who's an ex-running backs and a running back coach. They can play ball control. They got some big targets at receiver with Williams and Keenan Allen and Hunter Henry. To me, there's just a lot of things that make sense with Cam Newton and the Chargers.
The challenge for the Chargers is, when do they move? Do they move now, and do they hinge the contract on him passing a physical that would be administered by team doctors later, and then if he fails that physical, you just rip it up and he moves on elsewhere? Or do you wait to have a proper physical? Or do you just take the leap of faith? Do you have a neutral outside doctor administer a physical, and you sign him and you pay him and you just hope it works out? These are challenges that the Chargers are going to have to resolve, because if they wait, another team could swoop in. So let's move on to the next team. Cam Newton going to the Patriots would be what, Chris?
Very interesting. That's where, I would love to see it. That would be, amazing. Cam Newton replaces Tom Brady. And, of course, they're going to change the offense if that's the case, to where, they're going to make it suit Cam Newton and his skill set a little bit. So it would be fun to watch Belichick and McDaniels kind of reorganize and reorchestrate their offensive attack. But then to see Cam Newton, who I think is one of those guys who probably could go into New England and not be intimidated by I'm replacing the great Tom Brady and having to deal with that. I think he can handle that type of pressure. It would be interesting. I don't know if it's realistic, but I do think if there's a team who needed to conform to a guy like Cam Newton, New England could definitely do it.
They tell me that they're working on a game of PFT bingo where the squares are the things that you and I like to say over and over and over again. And one of my squares, I'm told, will be Cam Newton is 2-0 all-time against the Patriots. He is 2-0 all-time against the Patriots. And we've seen the Patriots become paralyzed defensively when that play that's been designed by Bill Belichick to work against an offense breaks down and it becomes backyard football. That's when they can't stop a mobile quarterback, because they don't have the athletes to chase a Cam Newton down once he starts to improvise. And that's the key, and that's why they should be interested in a Cam Newton. Now, will Cam Newton be willing to leave his wardrobe at home and not, be as individualistic and creative and different? Or will Bill Belichick just say, fine, you want to be a free spirit, you want to be your own guy? We will relax it some, like we did with Rob Gronkowski. That would be an interesting culture clash between the way the Patriots do things and the way Cam Newton does things. But, and this is why the Chargers should move quickly, because the longer Bill Belichick has to let this percolate, and he looks at Jarrett Stidham and Brian Hoyer, and he goes back and watches film of what Cam Newton has done against the Patriots and against other teams when he's healthy, man, at some point, I'd become very intrigued by the possibility of Cam Newton to the Patriots, Chris. All right, let's move on to the next one. I want to get them all in. Cam Newton going to Washington, where he'd be reunited with his only NFL head coach ever, Ron Rivera. That would be what, Chris?
Weird. I just think weird right now with the current state at the Washington Redskins. I mean, hey, Dwayne Haskins, he's a top 20 pick. Kyle Allen's there. Kyle Allen, the same guy who at one point last year, people were trying to tell me that, oh, the Carolina Panthers are better with Kyle Allen than Cam Newton. Yeah, bull crap they were. Okay, I don't want to hear that. But I just don't think that is a good. I just don't see it being a good fit for really either guy. I don't, and I'm not so sure Ron Rivera, wants to deal with that. Maybe he wants to build something new here in Washington altogether. I'm sure he's got great respect for Cam Newton, but I think right now you got to go with what the assets you got. And you got to see what Dwayne Haskins is as a quarterback first before you try to find somebody to replace him.
Yeah, I think to answer this one, I say it would be exhausting, specifically for Ron Rivera. I've detected a fatigue among Panthers fans and among media about just when is he going to be healthy? When is he going to stay healthy? Is he going to stay healthy? Is he going to take a hit? Is he going to be able to keep going? What is it going to be this offseason that we're trying to overcome? And I think Ron Rivera, and I think one of the reasons he brought Kyle Allen with him and did that trade, having Kyle Allen, even though it didn't make the team better, it removed from that pile of stuff you have to worry about your quarterback getting injured and your quarterback's health and the constant questions. And I think from Ron Rivera's standpoint, having to constantly deal with the media questions about Cam Newton, I think regardless of how he feels about the player, I think he's happy to put that bag down for good, and I don't think he'd want it, and I don't think Cam would want it. Cam's going to want to go to a place where he thinks he's going to be able to win, and there are better options, frankly, right now than Washington if his goal is to try to win. All right, the next one, and this is one I thought of yesterday. Cam Newton going to the Miami Dolphins would be what?
I don't think smart for the Miami Dolphins right now. I think the Miami Dolphins, first off, with Shan Gailey, I'm not so sure he could adapt to an offense around Cam Newton. And I think more with the Miami Dolphins right now, you're trying to build something for the future. And, again, Cam Newton, we don't know how long, he's going to play. Is a team going to sign him to a 1-2 year type contract? To me, if I'm the Miami Dolphins right now, I'm trying to build something that can be, build it with a quarterback that I see really fits the way Brian Flores, I think, wants to coach his football team and wants to play offensive football. And I just don't see Cam Newton being that fit. I think it would be cool to see him down in South Beach and everything like that. But one, I don't think Cam Newton wants to go to a team like Miami that's kind of in the rebuild mode, like you're saying. And two, I don't know if I think it's necessarily the right move for the Miami Dolphins right now to go that direction.
I love the market for Cam Newton. I love the idea of him being in Miami. And Brian Flores was there in New England when he saw Cam Newton, and you can go ahead and put it on the bingo card again, went 2-0 against the New England Patriots. And Ryan Fitzpatrick is their starter right now, and we've seen this kind of aggressive, all-in. You say they're rebuilding. Why are you signing 10 free agents right out of the gates when it costs more that week, the first week of free agency, than it would at any other time? I think that the Dolphins are not going to sit around and wait. And I think the longer Cam Newton is available, the more intrigued Brian Flores is going to be by the possibility. And I think it is a sneaky, strong possibility because they want to play, they want to win. And, oh, by the way, Cam Newton, if he can function against Bill Belichick's defense, why wouldn't you want him on your team? You're facing Bill Belichick's defense twice a year.
Well, those are good points, Mike. You make a lot of good points. You're right about that. The one thing that I'll say kind of dawned on me as I was listening to you there, too. If you are the Miami Dolphins, and I'm sure that their front office personnel has watched all the quarterbacks, I'm sure the coaches are kind of just getting through all that type of stuff right now. If you came away not blown away by any of the quarterbacks that you think, ooh, I thought this guy could be my franchise in the future, whether that's Herbert or Jordan Love or Tua, if you come away being underwhelmed by that group, then maybe Cam Newton is the play. And, maybe you just reevaluate the quarterback position when that time comes and you realize Cam Newton might not be a part of your team in the future. But, when I think about it from that aspect, I almost want to change my answer. It's not as crazy, and you made a lot of good points.
Look at what the Dolphins did a couple of weeks ago before the NFL slammed the door on the player visits to team facilities. They had one of the running backs in. I can't remember which one. I think it was J.K. Dobbins from Ohio State. He was in. They had Jordan Love in, I think, before they slammed the door. They tried to get Tua in before they slammed the door. It's entirely possible, and every team's going to deal with it differently. But if we're going to go into a draft with limited information, you're going to go safer. You're not going to take risks. And if you didn't get a chance to properly evaluate the most important position in the sport, you wait until next year. And maybe we see them trade some of those picks for more picks next year. They were going to put more of an emphasis on free agency. Maybe that's why they signed 10 guys last week. More of an emphasis on available veterans that we know about, less of an emphasis on incoming players that we have no way of finding the information that we need in order to be the best possible selectors of talent that we can be. And, you got 32 different teams. They're going to be sort of like snowflakes in that regard where they all have a unique approach. The Dolphins may be saying, you know what? Let's go all in with the draft next year. This year, let's go all in with veterans because at least we know about these guys, and that could cause them to. I'm talking myself into Cam Newton to the Miami Dolphins.
Mike, I'm not going to lie. You've lawyered me into it a little bit, too. The more we talk about it, I sat here and gone, there are some positives here. And you're right. With this weird year of the draft and the evaluation process, not getting to know guys, the uncertainties there. Yeah, like I said, if you're not in love with any of these guys, that might be a smart move. I wish I could change my answer. I'm not that smart.
It's not binding.
But either way, you've persuaded me a little bit to think differently about Miami and Cam Newton for sure.
All right, we got to take a break. We had one more on the list. It was the Cowboys, but that was mainly kind of a troll thing. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But that's the only other team that we could even conceive of as possibly being in the mix if they get frustrated with Dak Prescott and decide to go a different way.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.